Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Steve and I are having a good laugh talking about all our head injuries as kids.
Oh, God.
Adults.
We've been talking for the last hour, and it's looked like, oh, crap, we got to start the show, and I'm still got stories to tell.
Yeah, you guys probably realize that we had head injuries long before we started telling these stories. But anyway, it's good to see everybody this morning. Sparky, how you doing? And Rob Man's here.
Good morning.
I don't know how many people are in here yet, but we really, there again, we don't really have a show today. We're just going to chat along and talk about whatever you guys want to talk about.
Yeah, personal injuries.
Personal injuries, yeah. Oh, mercy. Yeah, it's a wonder Steve and I are actually sitting here able to talk and function.
Well, when people say, do you have brain damage? I said, yeah, I do.
Yeah, exactly. Lee's here from Anfield Road. Good morning, Lee. And
morning, Lee.
Fred Wild's here. Good morning, Fred.
Good morning, Fred.
Roy Eltham's here. Good to see
How's
you guys. So anyway, today's wide open. We'll talk about whatever you want to talk about.
Welding.
I would say I had something, but I don't really.
We can talk about welding.
About welding?
Welding.
Yeah, Steve bought him a new welder. So
yeah, I bought me a new welder. That's been fun.
Yeah, it's like painting the house isn't enough. He's going to weld now.
Yeah, so I got to learn how to MIG weld now.
But he still can't find his re-rater, so you know.
No,
Steve and I, every time we talk about something, we find out how much more we're alike.
Yeah. I figured I've got 6 head injuries.
At least.
That's 6 that I know of.
The ones you know of. Not counting the ones the wife hasn't inflicted yet.
I was just going to say, not counting the right cross from the wife. Yeah, I don't count those because she can kick my butt.
Oh, goodness gracious!
What do you guys want to talk about today?
Yeah, what's everybody got going on?
Yeah, what are you doing? What's everybody doing?
I'm back in building kits again. I'm halfway through a diner model in an old Overton coach. You know the ones that were in the old train cars that you'd see back in the 50s and 60s. I'm doing one of those. I was going to do we were going to do a beans last week and just didn't. Steve was busy painting the house, so we didn't do that.
Oh God! I finally finished the house yesterday, so that's done. Now I get to move to the shop.
Sparky says the right cross from the wife is just a sign of true love.
Yeah. Well, Roy says I should just duck.
Yeah. Well, that's a sign she cares, right? Maybe not about you, but about what's going on anyway.
Well, you got to be able to see the punch before you can duck.
Yeah, if they cold cock you and you don't see it coming, man.
I got a fly in here.
Sheep Boy says he's currently waiting for a train show to happen. Yeah, I got a feeling it'll be a while here. Well, they might have the one in Oklahoma City in December. They usually have it around the 1st of December, and it's a pretty good show. But it's the only one close to here. I'm hoping that they have the one up in Bentonville again that Jason went to, and I was going to meet him up there, and something came up, and I couldn't go. But that looked like a pretty good train show, and I would have driven over to meet him and go to that. Fred says he's been working on his staging. How much staging you got now, Fred? I've got a very, very small staging yard on mine, and it was an afterthought. It may get expanded, but it was an afterthought. He managed to find one, but not until the 17th of the month. So what location you in, Sheep Boy? What part of the country? I know back east they have a lot more train shows than they have around here. for some reason, in the middle of the country, they just don't have very many, unless you're in Chicago or something. But I almost consider that back east from this position.
We get one around here once a year, and it's always the weekend right after Thanksgiving over at the fairgrounds in Medford, which they haven't had since COVID locked everything down. So maybe this year they'll have it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they didn't have the one in Oklahoma City last year. I'm hoping they'll have it this year. It was pretty good. It was a pretty good show. But that's it's an hour and a half drive to get over there, 2-hour drive to get over there. But so is Bentonville. If I was to go to the one in Bentonville, Arkansas, Northwest Arkansas, that's about 2 hours from me too. But it'd make for a good day.
Yeah.
It's I like going to train shows, but man, they just don't have any around here. And they have one every now and again at the fairgrounds here in town, but it's not worth going to. They'll have a couple of layouts, modular layouts, and then they'll have 3 or 4 vendors, and that's all. It's less, like I say, it's not worth wasting the time even driving into town to do that.
Fred, you say you can have 14 tracks when you're finished. That's awesome. You got 6 so far.
Yeah, that's pretty good. How long are they going to be? Mine are only about 3.5 foot long, but they're all on my layout. They're all for the standard gauge, which is the loop to loop, and is mainly there just for continuous running kind of stuff on the layout, because the narrow gauge, of course, is point to point. Okay, well, we got some stuff here. Let's see.
Let's see.
Sheep Boy said he found the great. Here's the one I want. The Great Midwest Train Show. Yeah, I've seen that one in Model Railroader magazine advertised. That one's in Chicago, I think, isn't it? Chicago or Kansas City. I can't remember which.
Hey, good morning, John, our favorite pilot.
Morning, John. And Aunt Lee's working on making a train street canopy on the main street on the land. Okay. For your depot, I'm assuming.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Say what now?
Oh, Roy, Container Man, he just said his current position. I don't know if I can show this picture. Let's see. I don't know if you can see that. I don't know. Where the hell is
it? Hang on a second. Let me get you bigger here.
That's a reflection, but
man, that's down. He's heading east. That's down on. That's out on the plains someplace.
Where are you, Roy? That's pretty.
Sparky says for a half decent train show right now, I think I want to drive 3 hours. Just say I went to one. I agree, Sparky. I'm kind of the same way. If I can find one that's even that close, they're getting ready to have one. John, our last week's guest, was saying they're getting ready to have one up around Tyler, Texas, somewhere there, and he said it's a pretty good one. But he's got a problem with his hip or leg, I couldn't remember what she said, that bothers him when he drives for a long time. So he said he probably wouldn't go to it. But that's, Tyler, Texas from me is about 5 hours, so 4.5 hours.
Hey, Roy, whereabouts in California are you? Hey, don't make me big, Claude. They don't want to see me.
Oh, sorry.
Where are you at in California? Oh, my God. Gavin Newsom country. Good God.
Fred said 3 hours is the closest to him for a train show, driven as far as 300 miles. Yeah. Well, that would be like KC or Dallas for me. But yeah, where you're at up there, I can imagine they probably don't have too many up there either.
Good morning, Leslie. So Roy's in Barstow.
Oh, I'm sorry, Roy.
Yeah.
Actually, Roy, you're not too far from where I was born. I was born in Apple Valley, actually, before it got big. Lived in Apple Valley in Victorville, which is just, 30 miles or something south of there. So, yeah. Sad thing is, I probably won't be going back for a long time.
Good morning, Bernard.
Hey, Bernard, good morning. Oh, Leslie's here. Good morning, Leslie. Yeah, we're talking about whatever you guys want to talk about. So just put it up there.
I forgot to tell you. Remember, I had the issue with the pilot on. Take it off. I took it off. The pilot.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Okay. Remember, I had the issue because somebody pointed out when this was sitting on the locomotive that the pilot only cleared the top of the rail, by about 5/8 of an inch. And this is all just punched stainless steel. And it's just bolted on the side of it. So what was going to happen is if the thing went up, if it derailed, this stainless steel part was going to hit the rail and just rip up the pilot. And it's like, oh crap. I never thought about that.
Yeah.
And so I was going to build a skid plate underneath it so that if it did drop on the, off the rail, it would ride on the skid plate in front of the pilot. But then I got under there looking at it, and John put the bracing underneath the pilot truck are perfect for if it goes on, if it does derail, that's going to ride those plates on the bottom of the trucks are going to hit the rail first. So it's not going to hit this.
I was going to say, because the way that looks, like he's got the metal pieces like this, right?
Yeah.
Could you add spacers underneath there in the middle to raise that up?
Well, see, that's what I thought. The only way I could raise it up 1/4 of an inch, but then the top of the plate comes right up to the bottom of the smoke box door. There's only 1/4 of an inch between that distance. So at best, I could raise it 1/4, and that wasn't going to do it. But that was like, thank you, because now I don't have to worry about that. That's one less thing to have to deal with.
Well, yeah, it's good he thought about that. Mm-hmm. I was going to say, I can't imagine him building that and making it that scale, with it being that low.
Yeah.
Without some way to save that pilot, because otherwise, you like say it did just crumble it, bust it up like matchsticks.
Yeah, and that's not something John, the way he was, I just couldn't see him not thinking that out. Especially the amount of work that he put in that pilot.
Rob says virtual Relfing has cameras in Barstow and outside of Victorville. Oh, cool. Well, my grandparents used to ride the Santa Fe out of Victorville going back to Texas. Because my grandmother was scared to drive in a car. She hated riding in a car. She never drove, and she wouldn't fly. So the only thing they had left was either a bus or a train. But she ride the train and liked the train, so they took the train all the time. I remember that's where I remember as a kid going downtown to the depot, which isn't there anymore, or the big park in front of the depot is not there anymore. It's beautiful too, but none of that's there anymore in Victorville. It's pretty sparse around the train tracks there.
Yeah, Rob says the cow catcher doesn't stand a chance and gets a cow, maybe a groundhog catcher.
Or a squirrel or a chipmunk or something like that.
Yeah. And Sparky, in answer to your question, eventually, maybe if I ever get time not doing anything, it's a G scale. I don't know if you can see it. It's up there. It's a cheap Bachman thing that I got from somebody for around the Christmas tree. And it's louder than hell. I mean, that thing will wake the dead. But yeah, I put the track up there with the idea to sometime eventually, maybe possibly, the track's up there.
Well, you could set it up to turn on when your alarm goes off instead of your alarm ringing.
Oh, there you go.
Hook it up to start the train, and that'll wake you up.
But yeah, no, I've got the track up there, and one of these days I'll finish it. You know, I had a wild hair. I wonder if I could do that. I had the track, so I spent the weekend and put that in. But one of these days, maybe. I mean, this place is nuts in here. I mean, it's the wife won't even come out here. She gets anxiety.
Roy says the trains were stacked up or backed up on the west side coming into the yard. I'm assuming he's talking about Barstow. And the one time I got to ride on the Santa Fe passenger train going from California to Texas, we stopped in Barstow waiting on another train to get there with some more cars. And yeah, we spent some time in Barstow in the yard just sitting there. That was the boring part of the trip. But I remember as a young kid. But boy, we made it up in the desert the next morning.
Yeah, I agree, Bernard. All my spare time, which is non-existent.
John says, Reno Air Races, unlimited sport ran 400 miles an hour. Oh, at John. Okay. Wait a minute. I missed something. Roy was in Sacramento Governor's Cup, grandson's Fincar. Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I had friends that went to the Reno Air. In fact, flew in the Reno Air Races, and they were there when the Galloping Ghost went in a few years ago. That was a shame. That was a beautiful airplane. Oh, let's see here.
Yeah,
Roy behind here.
Yeah, Roy was saying that's what Heath says about his G-Scales trains, loud enough to wake the dead.
Hey, Vinny's here. Good morning, Vinny.
Hey, good morning, Vinny.
Good to see you.
How's everything going? Well, see, the problem if I start working on the G-Scale, that thing's such a piece of crap that I want to replace it with something good.
Then you're spending money on that instead of
yeah. And then I'll have that going. It's like, oh, that's really nice. And I'll end up putting one out in the yard.
Yeah. Well, then it turns into that but first disease, you know. So you're going to go do something. Oh, but first let me do this. And then you start to do that and you go, oh, no, but first I need to do this. Mm-hmm. And pretty soon you're 10 miles away from what you originally went to go do.
Yeah. So that's like video games. I don't want to start because I like it too much and I'll get into that. Hey,
John's here. Good to see you, John. Sorry, I can't stay up to have to leave to go to Mall Railroad Group Social in San Antonio. A railroad group social. That sounds like a support group for demented model railroaders.
Hey, thanks for being on the show last week, John.
Yes, yeah, thank you again for that. I'm sorry, John. That was too easy. But that's what I feel like sometimes, you know, when I'm up there and I'm looking at all this stuff in the layout room, and then down in my shop and all the stuff I got to build. I'm like, I need, you know, some kind of mental help. It's a sickness. Oh, Bernard says, 17 of us were there when Jimmy Leeward hit the ground. Oh, yeah, I was still flying RC airplanes. So, you know, we were really connected to a lot of that stuff. And the guy that really started the club back in the 50s, he would go out there and work on one of the planes that one of the younger guys had a plane out there that they took out every year. They were flying there's a Russian-made jet, and I think it was the one that they used for training. It's a little tiny thing, but that's what they were racing, and a lot of the racers had those, and I can't remember the name of it offhand, but that's airplanes and not trains, so. But yeah, he went out and worked on that crew, and then the guy that owned the plane, of course, went out there also. Oh, what did Roy says? I'm kind of behind here on the comments.
Well, Roy, he's 1,565 miles from Madera, California to Forest Hills. Oh, is that where you started, in Madera? I used to ride. I ran trains through Madera.
34 hours from Madera and left at 4 a.m. heading to Forest Hills, Texas from Monday. Forest Hills, I'm not sure where's that at, Roy? What part of the state is Forest Hills in? I'm not familiar with that town. It's probably a suburb somewhere, but Fred said he got G scale 5 years ago, put in the backyard. He still hadn't put it in. I thought about that briefly, about getting one and just doing a simple loop around the backyard once we got the pool in. And I started thinking about all the work and how hard it is for me to get up and down anymore. And I thought, no, the layout upstairs is more than enough work for me.
Well, Sheep Boy says he'll take it off your hands, Fred, if you don't want to use it.
There you go, Fred. Somebody will take it. By the way, if anybody's got ON 30 scale, I've got a Denver and Rio Grande locomotive. It's painted in the beehive colors that I bought brand new. I test ran it. It's all I've done with it because I don't have HO130, and I thought it might be big enough to put around the Christmas tree, but it's, ON30 is really HO size, or just slightly bigger than HO. And of course, it runs on HO track, so it wasn't near big enough that I wanted for around the tree. I'd have to go G scale. Not that the wife wants it around the tree, but
maybe
I was going to do it without asking her.
Maybe I should pick that up.
Yeah. Oh, Fred says he didn't say he didn't run it. It's just not in the yard.
Oh.
Okay. Forest Hills is around Fort Worth. Okay. That must be a newer subdivision or something there, because I don't remember. I lived in Fort Worth for a while and I don't remember hearing that name, but that also doesn't mean much. I just didn't know where Forest Hills was. So, Fred said he even made a Bluetooth. What was it? A Bluetooth controlled made in Bluetooth controlled and battery powered. Well, that'd be pretty cool.
That's what they do at Train Mountain. They've got actually a whole massive G scale setup. It's another club up at Train Mountain. It's called Gville, and that's what they do. It's all radio controlled because you can't keep the track clean there. I mean, there's a lot of track.
Yeah, for G scale, that is a lot of track, because I think I asked you about that. I was looking at the satellite view of Train Mountain, and I saw that, and I was asking you if that was part of it, and then you told me it was G scale. I thought, whoa, that's a lot of track for G scale.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, it's all battery powered.
Oh, Roy says it's off the 820 loop, southeast part of the loop. Okay. Trying to remember what other town would have been down. It would have been a small town in that area, but I'm familiar. So that would put it south side of Dallas and Fort Worth, starting to be toward the middle or south of Arlington. Probably not that far east, but in that area. Yeah, Fred said he didn't want to have to deal with track power for it. I can understand that, because if you get a big enough loop of that stuff, you'd have to have pretty potent power to drive that, to run through that much rail or even that much feeder wire that you'd have to put out there. John, so what John say here? Oh, he's just 250 miles further south, just below Austin. He's out in the woods. That's what he told me. He was out in the woods, Roy. So you probably couldn't find him if you were down there. I've got a friend that lives in Georgetown, just north of Austin. And he said the traffic's gotten so bad down there that he almost wishes he hadn't moved down there. But anyway, yeah, like I say, I'm building a new kit for my layout. It's a diner. My grandparents had a diner back when my mom and dad met. In fact, that's when my mom and dad met, was at the diner. And I've since found out that my dad worked at a diner before that. And I've got the name of that one, but I'm trying to find the name of the one from my grandparents had. And I've seen the picture of him standing out in front of it, but I can't remember if there was a name on it. And my mom just passed a couple of years ago, and she's the last one that remembers. My sister doesn't remember it. She says she never saw the picture. So now I've got to go hunt through the pictures again and hope the name's on there so I can use it on the diner on the way out. But fun stuff. Roy says he delivers in Georgetown sometimes. Traffic's fun, isn't it, Roy? And that's north of Austin, pretty decent ways. But yeah, Austin's gotten crazy with traffic. Fred, so what's Fred say here? I knocked it off. That's one thing nice about living in the middle of nowhere. It's a 10-minute drive to work. Yeah. Yeah, because there's no traffic. I understand that. Well, Tulsa's not too bad. You know, I gripe about the traffic sometimes during rush hour and stuff here, but it's really not the traffic as much as the way people drive. But then my sister came from Charleston, South Carolina. She's here this weekend visiting, and we were driving somewhere yesterday, and she said, "Man, you guys don't have any," and it was rush hour. And she goes, "You guys don't have any traffic here." And it was not bumper to bumper, but it was close on one of the freeways.
Yeah, rush hour here used to last about 10 minutes. Now it's not that way anymore.
Yeah, it's gotten worse here, but it's still not as bad as, say, Dallas or Houston. I try not to go through Dallas or Houston or someplace like that when it's rush hour because it's nuts. John Roy says he's been through Austin.
And John Tanzilla, you're in Wimberley.
He's in Wimberley.
Wimberley.
Out in the woods in Wimberley. Okay.
Don't they play tennis in Wimberley?
Wrong Wimberley.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's Wimberley. Yeah, okay.
Wimbledon.
Wimbledon.
Yeah.
I've been there before. I've been there once.
To Wimbledon?
Yeah.
In your dreams or really?
No, really.
Okay.
No, my wife's sister lives in Paris, and we went there in 2004.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And they only live like 10 minutes from there, and that's where her husband used to play tennis. Not professionally, but he would go there and play tennis.
Yeah.
It's pretty fancy. It's a pretty nice place.
Well, I've been to Europe a couple of times on a couple of trips, but the only time we were in England, we were in Heathrow, and that was a nightmare.
I'm never going back. I saw enough of Paris, so I'm done.
Yeah.
I don't need to go back.
I'd like to go back and see more Italy. I really enjoyed Italy. Italy and the Greek islands. The Greek islands were a lot of fun too.
Well, we went to
Santorini's beautiful.
We did go to Normandy, and that was the best part of the trip.
Yeah,
that was worth it.
Yeah, my wife bought me back in 2019, I think is when we went. 3 years ago. We went. She bought me a Band of Brothers tour. So we did Normandy and Bastogne, and then went to Munich, and then went over to Berchtesgaden and went up Eagle's Nest, all that good fun stuff. And that was a great trip.
I'm looking for something. Somewhere around here, I've got sand from it.
Fred says he thought everyone was working from home. That doesn't make rush hour the walk from the office to the bedroom. Yeah, well, it's not here anymore, Roy. Fred. That's the thing. Not to get into too much politics, but Oklahoma being a red state, we were shut down initially last year, but once they opened up, it's been pretty much open, and some places require a face mask. About the only ones that really require you to wear a face mask anymore is going to the doctor's office. But any place else, nobody's requiring that really. Now, if you go into a restaurant, someplace like that, people in there working will have one on, but everything here pretty much open, which is nice.
Oh.
Yep.
I was looking for something.
Sparky says it depends on who else is in the bedroom, Fred. Easy, Sparky. Okay, we're going to find out. We're going to zero in where John is. He says it's only 35 miles south of Austin, just west of Kyle off of I-35. Okay. We'll find out where you're at, John. We'll zero in on your house and then egg it or toilet paper it or something like that.
I got the toilet paper. I stocked up from last year.
Oh, Steve Anderson just saying hi at breakfast on the road to a train show. You suck, Steve.
Oh, good morning, Steve. Don't rub it in.
Yeah, you suck. Have a good day, man. Enjoy it. We were all wishing earlier that we had train shows to go to.
Good morning, John. Grandpa Rails. How are you this morning?
Hey, John. Good to see you. Oh, we're crazy this morning. Steve got me going good.
Oh, God.
Okay. Steve Anderson also says, Fred, half the time I have a 1 minute commute. The other 2 days is 20 minutes there, 45 minutes home. Yeah, I've seen days like that too.
I have a 30 second. Mine's 30 seconds from the bedroom to the couch.
Well, sometimes you got to stop at the bathroom, don't you?
Yeah. Well, that's longer than 30 minutes, though.
Oh, too much information right there. Too much information. Oh, well, guys, the guys that just popped in. We're just talking about whatever you guys want to talk about. So you put a comment in there. We'll do something. Give you some zingers or something.
Good morning,
Joe Rader just showed it.
Joe Rader.
Yeah.
Good morning, Joe.
Super late today, Joe. Yes, you are. Shame on you.
At least you made it.
Yeah, at least you're here. Sometimes it's not a bad thing to be late for this show.
No. Thank God the dog is asleep. I had to pull him out of bed this morning.
Vinny wants to know where I'm located. I'm in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Actually, I live on the far east side of town, just north of Broken Arrow, which is a suburb that's southeast of Tulsa. So if you look at a map of Tulsa, look on the east side, you'll see a reservoir that's geometrically shaped. It looks kind of like shaped kind of like the state of Nevada, if I remember right. I haven't looked at it in a long time, but it's just a mile north of my house. So that'll get you real close to where I'm at. Vinny said, or Roy says, I'm out of route. Okay. That's true in a lot of situations, Roy. You could be talking about a lot of different things and that would apply.
Oh, and Steve, you're sitting in a local cafe listening to loggers. I bet that's a good listen.
Yeah. Are they the guys actually cutting the trees, or are they guys hauling them, or loading them on trains?
Well, you're up in Washington, so those are some serious logs.
Yeah. Well, you know, the model train museum in Greeley, Colorado, that Mike McCarville has been going up and doing some stuff for too. You would think that would be a Colorado railroad that they modeled in there, but it's not. It's a railroad from Washington and Oregon, I think, somewhere in there. I don't remember the name of the railroad that they modeled. Now they run a lot of different equipment on there, but all the scenery and stuff is modeled after that area in the Pacific Northwest. If you ever get to Colorado, the Denver area, it's 30 minutes north, 40 minutes north of Denver, and it's worth every bit of your time to go see it if you're in that area. It's not right off I-25, but it's not too far off I-25 if you're running through there. There's Michael McCarville right there.
Good morning,
But
Mike.
it's definitely worth your time to go see in person. It's they've got a snow shed that was scratch built. And I forgot how many pieces they said were in this, something like 4,000 or 5,000 pieces of wood. But it's on a horseshoe curve in this mountain that they got, the top of this mountain that they've got. And it's really fabulous looking. But they've got a port in there. They've got a big lumber yard area. It's just a really neat layout. Really neat layout. Oh, okay, so Mike, he said it was created by an Oregon Rail fan. So what's the name of the railroad that they're modeling, Michael? I don't know if it's a real one. It's probably modeled after something, but it is really a cool layout if you go see it. And of course, they built this building just to house it, and it's a pretty good sized building.
Let's see. Well, Bernard he wanted to rail fan Donner Pass, but wrong timing. Dang the luck. That's a pretty place if you ever get a chance to see it.
I'll be up there close to that.
That's really pretty.
I don't know that I'll take time to go through there.
Of course, I don't know now with all the fires that may be gone.
Yeah, that's what, we're going to be staying in South Lake Tahoe and then driving up to Klamath Falls. And it's like, we're going to go that almost a direct route that way. We're not going over to I-5 and going up. So I'm sitting here thinking how much of that is going to just be charred wood that we're going to see.
Well, if you were coming from South Lake Tahoe on Highway 50 down to Sacramento, yeah, it's gone. Yeah. 270,000 acres.
Yeah. But anyway, okay, Michael's got it. Here we go. Have a bunch of videos from the museum. If you come to town, I will take you on a behind-the-scenes tour. Oregon, California, and Eastern. Okay, I couldn't remember what they named it, but it is a fabulous layout. It really is cool. We were there. They had some guys operating the day we were there, but I don't think they were there. I know they weren't doing operations because they only had about 4 guys that were running trains. But still with that, they still had a lot of trains running. So I think she said, what's her name? Name's escaping me now. The girl that's the curator there, great lady. And I think she was saying they can actually run all the trains by computer and just set them up to run, for show days and that sort of thing. They don't have to have operators there, I think is what she was saying. And she wasn't there when we were there, but I'd seen that on a video somewhere. Yeah, Roy, they do. They've got a full-size caboose inside. Like I say, it's just a neat stop if you're a train fan to go see. That and the Colorado Railroad Museum, it's a good stop too. If you don't get anything else in the Denver area, those are two pretty good stops. Michelle, yes, Michelle is her name. Yeah, she's a great gal. I've seen her on several shows, and she's very enthusiastic about the museum, and that's great because that's what it takes to keep stuff like that going. It's not just about the people coming in and seeing it. You got to have people that actually take an interest in keeping it going. Yeah, Kempa. Yeah, Michelle Kempa.
No, Michelle Kempema, because Mike says Michelle Kempema is the director.
Director, okay.
Curator.
But Michael, that's fairly recent, right? Are you joining the museum? You can run 9 trains, yeah. 90 feet by 65 feet, and it looks like it's bigger than that. The way they've got it laid out is pretty fabulous. It's the best way to see a layout that I've ever seen, especially one of that size. Usually you're always on the ground, but when you first come in, if you take the map and you go by the way they kind of send you, they've got a walkway that goes up high on the wall so you get an overall view of everything. And you see a lot of stuff in the back that you probably wouldn't see from the floor. And it works out really well that way. But I guarantee you'll get stuck on some of the scenes and stand in one place for 30 minutes looking at stuff. There's so much stuff on that layout.
Yeah, Mike says check out the video that he did in the overview. We'll have to look that one up.
Yeah, I'll have to look that up. Like I say, I've got the map and stuff here, and I took tons of pictures on it when I was up there 2 years ago. And it says museums on his bucket list. Going to try to visit one of my trips to Denver this winter. Yeah, John, it's like I say, it's only 30, 40 minutes north of Denver, depending on traffic, I'm sure, but it's in Greeley. Greeley's not a great big town. So once you get off the highway, getting there is pretty easy. And yeah, and Roy says there's plenty of parking at the museum. Yes, there is. Oh, Fred said he met her in Deschler, Nebraska a few years back. Well, next time, Fred, you got to make time. You got to make time to go, and you need more than an hour or two, just so you don't have to rush. You can take your time and go through it, because it's worth taking half a day to go see it.
Oh, John, yeah, you leave your airplane in Denver a lot during the winter. Must be tough.
Michael says Michelle was at the East Broad Top and Altoona in the last 48 hours. Well, hopefully Nate got a chance to meet her. That'd be pretty cool. I know Nate is not very far from the East Broad Top. He's just south of there. But yeah, hopefully he got a chance to meet her. Oh, Mike wants to know, or Steve wants to know, is that a personal trip she's on or kind of a work promotion trip? I would guess it's a work promotion trip, but I don't know, so I'm not going to say. Oh, yeah. This is true, too. The museum's got lots of parking, but it is right next to the Union Pacific tracks, and that line is busy, and they come through there like they own the place.
You got to love that.
They don't slow down much that I remember. We saw one train pass by when we were still outside. And yeah, the tracks are right there, and it was pretty loud. They had, on that particular train, they must have had 5 engines on it pulling it. It was a long train. But I don't remember hearing one once we were inside the building. Whether or not there was one that came by or not, I don't know. But
you're making me homesick now.
Steve says, okay, it seems she is really doing a lot. That is cool. Following. I'm assuming he's talking about her on Facebook. I may have to get on there and look. I don't do Facebook much anymore. So if anybody tries to friend me, I'm not ignoring you. I'll see it, but I'm not taking friends anymore on Facebook unless it's, a very personal friend here in town or something. But I just don't do anything on Facebook anymore. So there's not much point in friending me on there. If you were wanting to, I wouldn't blame you not to. But anyway, so what else are we doing here, guys? What else you guys been up to? What are you working on now, Mike?
We killed 45 minutes pretty quick.
Yeah, it always goes by fast. Mike, what are you working on here lately? I haven't been over to your channel. I apologize, but I haven't been to anybody's channel here lately. I've been so busy. I've been meaning to go back and binge watch one day, and I just never get around to doing it. Wife's always asking me to do something, or somebody calls and needs something done, and every day I think I've got an open day and I can either work on the layout or something, and I get a call, somebody needs something. So
I haven't had time, and I think I will for a while.
yeah, but I do need to get back and binge watch a bunch of videos.
I mean, I've got a list. This is my to-do list for the steamer, man. I've got, oh my God, these are the things I got to buy. I've got to buy a burner valve. I got to get 2 pairs of trucks, globe valves for the cab, brakes for the trucks, an ejector. Got to get all the vacuum assembly for the vacuum brakes, blow down valves, whistle valves, and tender valves. And then I got to put it all together.
Well, get all that done by next summer, man.
Oh, I will. Oh, I'll get it done. if I can get them. I'm still waiting on being able to get the rivet gun. That's still back ordered. So God knows how much of that stuff's going to take forever to get shipped.
Yeah. Yeah, we were talking about that yesterday. My sister was telling me about somebody that had ordered furniture last December. She just got one piece of the 4 pieces that she'd ordered.
Well,
came in here just recently.
My neighbor just put in. Well, he moved up here from California, and he just put in his gate that he's out ordered, because I'm going to put in a gate motor for mine. And his wife is retiring from UPS, and she's been there for 33 years or something. And this was 2 weeks ago, and they had 48 full-size container ships anchored in LA Harbor and out because they couldn't get enough longshoremen to unload them.
Yeah.
So I mean, this stuff is all sitting around just waiting for people to work.
Yep. Exactly. Well, Mike says he's building a bunch of Banta kits just for an open house for a club member, but no videos. Okay. Doing the Union Bank today. Did the blacksmith shop and annex before that.
Oh.
Okay.
Roy just sent me a picture. Let's see if you can see that.
Uh-oh. Hang on here.
Sorry about the reflection.
Yeah, that's Michelle and Roy.
I'm trying to get it so it don't reflect, but it's not happening.
I just told it still. That's pretty good right there. Yeah, she's a great lady. I'd love to meet her in person. I was hoping she was going to be there the day we were there, but then that's kind of a tall order because it was middle of the week. It wasn't a weekend or anything like that. Wasn't any of the days that they have a operating session or anything. And of course, I don't know exactly when she's there. I don't know if she has a set time to be there or not. I think it might be hit or miss to meet her there. But yeah, I was hoping to meet her there, but didn't happen. Rob says he's got a to-do list for all the lists he has to do. To-do lists he's got to make. I love it. Yep. That's the way I feel sometimes. It's that, but first I got to go do this. Yeah. Exactly. And Bernard, it's the big before winter push, 24 degrees. I left irrigation on fields with my ice. I'm so not ready.
Yeah, you know what, Bernard,
Okay.
I would agree. I've met Roy, and she's definitely more attractive than Roy is. And
I've not met Roy yet, but I've seen enough pictures of him that, yeah, pretty much anybody's better looking than Roy is.
I'll bet she smells better too.
Roy might beat out Shannon. He might be better looking than Shannon, but
yeah,
just barely.
Claude, put you back on. They don't want to see me.
Oh, they want to see you?
Well,
I didn't want to see me, so.
They don't want to see me. Okay, Vinny, thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, Benny.
A little premiere video. Okay.
Good to see you. Premiere video. Well, my sister's here for the weekend, so after I get done with this, I'm not on the computer all weekend. So
Good morning,
Hey,
Allie.
Allie just showed. Hey, Allie,
You're
how you
late,
doing?
Allie.
Well, yeah. Oh my goodness. Anyway, yeah. Before the show, Steve and I were talking about when we were kids, how many times we hit our heads, cut our heads open, all that good stuff. Steve's got me beat though.
Oh, I didn't tell you about the last one.
Just you got me beat by just a little bit though.
Yeah, I had forgotten about one. I've had 6 head injuries. The last one was working for the railroad. We were working in Stockton, and it's a switch job that we had a regular crew and we're good friends, and we BS and we had a great time. And we were tying a cut of cars on the end of a train, and supposedly whether it's a miscommunication, and I spent 8 hours leaning out the window looking down the side of the locomotive with guys on the side of the cars. Well, I thought we were shoving up to tie on the cut, so we're clicking along about 10-12 miles an hour. I see the field man, he's up there on the car, he gets off. That's the last thing I remember, because I caught that side of the cab right across my face. It's like knocked me out cold. Next thing I know, I'm waking up. I'm on the floor with my head against the heater with the control console right here, looking up the field man. He goes, "Oh my God, I thought I killed you. Are you all right? Don't turn me in. They'll fire me." It's like, no, you're fine. But that was number 6. So I've had.
So what happened? How did you hit your head? I mean,
Well, because I thought we were shoving up to make a joint, so I'm waiting for him to give me a big easy sign to slow down. Well,
and he didn't do that.
No, what happened was the foreman, the yard conductor, thought that they had let the cars go, and he thought they were rolling free. So he steps off because it's going to be a 10-mile-an-hour joint, because he didn't know the locomotive was still tied onto the cut. He thought it was just rolling. So the pin puller, he bailed off. He was not even on it. So I'm sitting there looking at this guy. I'm waiting for this thing to slow down. It didn't slow down. Next thing I know, we smacked the end of that thing. It's like, that hurt.
Well, Michael says 6 head injuries explains a lot. That's what I told him, Mike.
Yeah.
I told him both of us. It explains a lot on both of us.
No, yeah, I've had 6. 2. Well, we don't get into it, but yeah, 2. Falling off my as a 2-year-old on a concrete thing. I knocked myself out of the basketball pole. Got hit in the face with a line drive baseball.
Yeah, see, and I only had 4 bad ones. Most of them were when I was little. Yeah. I had stitches, but I only knocked myself out once. So.
Yeah, so I see. So when people
ask slightly more coherent.
So if they ask me, "Do you have brain damage?" It's like, maybe.
Probably.
It's entirely possible.
Yep. Oh. Yeah. So, Steve, like I said, Steve and I were talking about this before the show started, and he was telling me about when he fell off the wall and hit his head when he was little, and I said, "Yeah, I did pretty much the same kind of thing, falling or jumping off the fireplace hearth and fell back and hit the hearth. Got stitches on that one too."
But now you've got kids running around. They look like they could get hit by a train and they'd be fine. They're rollerblading. They got elbow pads. They got knee pads. They got head things. They got body armor.
Yeah. Rob says chasing trains is fun. Chasing a parked train and catching it. Whammo.
Yeah.
Yep. I can imagine. Oh, Ellie said, what did Ellie say? Knocked her. self out once and woke up on the ground with a broken arm. I have no idea what happened. Oh, that's not good.
Except for the broken arm, that's not good.
Yeah, that's not good. I've woken up a lot of times and didn't know what happened, but it wasn't because I got knocked myself out.
Oh, I'm always getting hurt. If my son comes over, he says, "Where's your scar? Where are you bleeding?" I broke my arm falling off a bike as a kid. I got hit with a bottle at the railroad, broke my arm.
Bernard says the brain is in sections, all 8 of them. Yeah, mine feels that way sometimes. Fred said his mother dropped him down the stairs when he was little. I was strapped into a car seat. Oh my God. That would be the early version of a jet sled, right? Those test sleds that they had? For stuff. Oh my goodness, I can't even imagine. I can picture it though, the car seat bouncing and he's in there going, wee. Oh, goodness gracious. Well, Steve was saying he got hit with the glider swing on a swing set one time, and swing sets were the worst.
Oh,
because
man.
in California, when I lived in California, it was second grade, and we had these great big tall, the strap swings, had the big strap at the bottom that you set in, these chains must have been 20, 30 foot long. They were huge. You could get way up high.
Yeah,
and one of the things one of the things we were dumb enough to try and do was dare each other to run right through the center of it from one end to the other while people were swinging back and forth without stopping. And we would do that. Of course, I don't remember anybody getting hurt from that, but I did see a girl who wasn't paying attention one day. Somebody came down and got her both feet right in the side of the head. That was not good. They brought an ambulance and everything for that one. I don't know.
Oh yeah, now you go out to playgrounds and you got a nice slide, and the kids are getting second-degree burns because they're so hot.
Yeah. Or dry, and it's just rubbing
dry. Like that video I sent you where the guy's going, wee papa, wee papa, wee papa. The little kid trying to go down the slide, they can't. They go down and stop, go down and stop, go down and stop. We go down a 30-foot metal slide and crash at the bottom.
Yeah. Oh, Roy, you shouldn't have said that. I said that, and it wasn't 6 months later I broke a bone, so it wasn't serious, but I broke my right ankle. Actually, I twisted. I thought I just sprained it, and the ligament just snapped the bottom of the leg bone where the ligament was attached. Instead of tearing the ligament, it just popped that bone off. That one didn't feel good. And then I had my son when he was a baby, and I tripped, and I was trying not to drop him, and I rolled my toes over. I was wearing house shoes and rolled my foot over like that, and I broke one of the metatarsal bones.
Oh, I could tell you about falling off a ladder here 20 years ago, 2000. I think I told you that story. I still got the ladder.
Well, that's why my wife won't let me on a ladder anymore.
No, my shoulder's trash now. I mean, because I tore a rotator cuff when I did that. I was in the garage, had the ladder up. I was reaching for some rubber boots. The ladder slipped out, and it was like the cartoons. They run out, they look down, and then they fall. I had enough time to look down and go, this is going to be bad. And I went face down on the concrete, laying on the ladder with my arm wrapped around the ladder.
Yeah.
And it hurt so bad. I'm thinking, oh man, there's got to be a compound fracture here somewhere. I'm feeling around for bones.
Yeah. Well, I did that one time, had a ladder slide. I was on a 20-foot extension, and I was all the way at the top, and the bottom slid. And of course, luckily the ladder went straight down the wall.
Yeah.
The other lucky thing was there was a big boxwood bush under the ladder. So that caught it. But you talk about stopping my heart.
My top step on that ladder is bent like this for my arm. And that's the step of an aluminum ladder that bent.
Yeah.
No, I saved that ladder. I couldn't get rid of it.
Roy said falling off the bicycle, racking his jewels. Roy, that happens so many times it doesn't even count.
Too much information.
Yeah, that's happened so many times. I always wondered why a boy's bike had that bar up high and the girls went down. It should have been the other way around.
Oh, Rob, you've got a plate, 8 screws in your neck. Sounds like my wife.
Oh, yeah.
She's got 2 rods and 12 screws in her neck.
Yeah, that's not fun.
No, that's, yeah.
You can't walk near a microwave, can you, without wetting yourself? Kind of like like cousin Eddie.
Yeah. Set off a metal detector.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. I'd hate to have that. I've had 3 knee surgeries. Need another one. And the cold weather sometimes will come in and just make my knees go crazy. And I don't have anything in there, any metal in there, but I can't imagine that feeling very good.
Boy, that hour went by fast. Holy moly.
Oh, yes, it is. We're actually over. And like I say, I've got company, so I'm going to have to get out of here.
Yeah, I got to go too.
Oh, wait a minute. Allie's got a question, train-related question. Do you guys have experience with inox for cleaning track?
That'd be a good subject for next week. Cleaning
Are you
track.
talking about the no-ox, Allie? I've bought some, and I used it on my test track, and it helped. I've got a little old, is it a Joe Works, maybe a Joe Works locomotive, a little tank engine, 4 wheels. And so very little pickup on it. And it would run, it's a DC engine, and it would run, but very sporadically. I put that on there, and it just puttered right down the track. So it worked really good for conducting the electricity anyway. I know William A., he uses it on his layout and really likes it.
That'd be a good subject, yeah.
Yeah, Roy. Yeah, Roy's kind of covering this. He uses no-ox ID. That's what I'm using, Roy. But inox is similar from what he understands. That's kind of what I figured from the name. It sounded very similar. Anyway, with that, we'll say goodbye for this week, and we'll see you next week, guys. Had fun as usual.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks for showing up, and have a good week, and we'll see you guys later.
Later, guys.